Have you ever stopped to think that, without realizing it, some habits we adopt to protect our health might actually be taking us further away from it? Putting food in the fridge has always been seen as a gesture of care, a responsible habit. After all, we want to preserve the best of what we have, avoid waste and protect what we serve to those we love. But what if I told you that there are certain foods that were never meant to be kept in the refrigerator? That, when refrigerated, they undergo silent changes, lose their properties, alter their structure, and, in some cases, become real threats to your health, even increasing the risk of serious diseases like cancer. This is one of those truths that almost no one talks about, not out of bad intentions, but because it got lost over time. It was buried by modern habits, the rush of daily life, the false sense of convenience. Today, we're surrounded by conveniences, but not all of them do us good. In the rush, we end up accepting as normal things that deep down should be questioned. And that's where the danger lies. What has become common may be costing us far too much. Knowing what truly nourishes the body and what harms it goes beyond making a smart choice. It's a real commitment to yourself, a deep care for your story, your health, and the precious years still ahead. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this lesson. I'll reveal the 8 foods you should never store in the fridge and the surprising reasons behind it. You'll be amazed at how much small adjustments in your routine can truly transform your quality of life. More than that, you'll understand how simple decisions can steer you away from invisible risks and at the same time strengthen your body with more awareness and wisdom. And there's a gift waiting for you. If you watch until the end, I'll teach you a powerful natural recipe to boost your immunity, especially developed for those over 60. This formula comes from the ancient wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine. It has been used for centuries by elders in rural villages of China who live long, energetic, healthy, and vibrant lives. They would turn to this recipe especially during seasonal changes as a way to shield the body from illnesses and imbalances. So, listen carefully. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything has a purpose. And if you're here now, hearing these words, it's because the time has come to truly take care of yourself, to look more consciously at what enters your body, your routine, and your life. If this message stirred something within you, write this in the comments. Nature is God's pharmacy. This simple phrase carries enormous strength. It's a commitment to the natural, a symbolic step toward a healthier, lighter, wiser life. It's as if you were saying, I choose to change. And now, I want to ask you something special. Pause the video for a moment and send it to someone you love. Maybe this lesson is the push that person needed to make healthier, more conscious, more transformative choices. A simple gesture of care can deeply impact someone's life. And now, let's get straight to what matters. 8 foods that should not be stored in the refrigerator and the associated risks. Have you ever imagined that in trying to better preserve your food, you might unknowingly be putting your health at risk? Many people believe that putting everything in the fridge is a sign of safety, but the truth is, some foods simply weren't made for this type of storage. And what seems like a correct action can, over time, cause serious nutritional losses, and even open the door to health problems far more serious than you might think. Today, you'll discover the 8 foods that should never be stored in the refrigerator, and more importantly, the hidden dangers behind this very common habit. 1. Potatoes. The cold of the refrigerator accelerates the transformation of potato starch into sugar. When cooked or fried, these sugars can lead to the formation of a substance called acrylamide, which is associated with the development of serious diseases. How to store properly: in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place and away from light. Forget the refrigerator. 2. Bread. Putting bread in the fridge may seem practical, but it has the opposite effect. It hardens faster and becomes more vulnerable to mold. And some of these molds release dangerous toxins. Ideal way to store: keep the bread in a closed container outside the fridge, and if you need to store it longer, freeze it. 3. Honey. Honey is almost eternal, but not in the fridge. The cold causes it to crystallize and lose its natural properties. In addition, it can develop substances that harm your health when exposed to inappropriate temperatures. Best place: room temperature, in a well-sealed jar, away from light. 4. Olive oil. In the refrigerator, olive oil hardens and loses texture. Worse, contact with light and cold accelerates oxidation, reducing its quality and antioxidant potential. Store it well like this, in a dark, cool place, and in dark glass bottles. 5. Coffee. Coffee easily absorbs odors and moisture. Inside the fridge, it loses its aroma, flavor, and can even develop a strange taste. How to store: in an airtight container, away from light and any strong-smelling sources. 6. Tomatoes. When you put tomatoes in the fridge, they simply stop developing flavor. The cold affects the texture, aroma, and natural taste of the fruit. Golden tip: store outside the fridge until they ripen. If they are overripe, you can refrigerate them, but take them out before consuming to recover some of the flavor. 7. Garlic. The humidity of the fridge causes garlic to wilt faster and become prone to mold and spoilage. Best place: in a ventilated basket, out of light and with the skin intact. 8. Onions. Just like garlic, onions suffer from the fridge's humidity. They become soft, start to sprout, and rot more easily. Correct storage: in a dry, ventilated place, away from potatoes. Together they spoil more quickly. Each food has its own way of being preserved, and understanding this is a fundamental step in keeping your health protected, your food more nutritious, and your home safer. Small changes in your routine can prevent silent risks and bring much more vitality to your daily life. Where to store everyday foods? Now let's talk about foods that are part of our routine, but that many people still store incorrectly. And this can compromise not only the flavor, but also the shelf life and nutrients of these foods. Bananas. Bananas don't like the cold. When placed in the fridge, the peel darkens very quickly due to the action of enzymes at low temperatures. Despite the ugly appearance on the outside, the pulp is still good for a while, but this process speeds up deterioration. How to store properly: keep at room temperature, away from the sun. If they are very ripe and you want to use them later, peel, cut, and freeze to use in smoothies or recipes. Avocados. Avocados are picky. If still green, the cold stops them from ripening. But once ripe, the cold helps preserve them for a few more days. How to store: let them ripen outside the fridge. Once ripe, you can store them in the fridge, whole or cut, but add a few drops of lemon juice to prevent darkening. Use within 2 or 3 days. Apples. Apples release a gas called ethylene, which speeds up the ripening of nearby foods, especially leafy greens and delicate vegetables. Ideal way to store: if you'll consume them within a few days, they can stay outside the fridge, but away from greens. To make them last longer, keep them in the fridge, preferably separated from the rest. Carrots. Carrots lose their crunch quickly outside the fridge, but even in the fridge, the secret is how to store them. The best way: place the carrots in a glass container with water tightly sealed. Change the water every 2 days. This way, they stay firm and tasty much longer. Strawberries. Strawberries are delicate and spoil easily. If washed before storage, they wilt and mold quickly. Proper storage: store strawberries unwashed, in a lidded container or in a strainer over a plate with a paper towel on top. Wash only right before eating. Leafy greens: lettuce, arugula, kale. Leafy greens require care. If poorly stored, they darken, lose texture and freshness. How to keep them fresh: wash, dry very well, and store in a closed container or cloth bag with paper towels between the layers to absorb moisture. Change the paper every 2 days. Eggs. Many people put eggs in the fridge door, but that's the worst place. Constant opening and closing changes the temperature and compromises preservation. The ideal way: store eggs on the internal shelves with the pointed end facing down. And an essential detail: never wash eggs before storing. The shell has a natural coating that helps prevent contamination. These simple precautions make all the difference. Storing food the right way means less waste, more health, better taste and savings in your daily life. It's about going back to the basics, respecting the time and nature of food, and understanding that often what seems like a detail is what matters most. And now, let's move on to a crucial point: the invisible mistakes that destroy the value of food inside your own kitchen. You could be sabotaging your health right in your kitchen without even noticing. Let's talk about common, silent and dangerous mistakes that many make every day, and that gradually compromise the quality of your food and your family's well-being. Storing hot food in plastic containers. It may seem practical, but it's risky. The heat from freshly prepared food can react with plastic, releasing compounds like bisphenol A, a substance known to disrupt hormones and, according to studies, linked to serious diseases like cancer. What to do? Always prefer glass containers. And if you're using plastic, wait until the food has completely cooled before storing, using the wrong oil for sautéing or frying. Not every oil can withstand heat. Oils like soybean, corn and sunflower break down easily at high temperatures, forming free radicals, inflammatory substances that age your cells and pave the way for chronic diseases. What to do? For cooking, choose more stable fats like olive oil on low heat, coconut oil, or high-quality pork lard. Reheating the same food multiple times. With each reheating, the food loses nutritional value, but the worst part isn't that. Ingredients like rice, chicken, and potatoes, when reheated more than once, can develop bacteria and harmful compounds. What to do? Heat only the amount you're going to eat, and if there are leftovers, store them properly and avoid repeating the reheating process more than once. Storing still wet food. Leafy greens, fruits, and vegetables stored wet become a paradise for fungi and bacteria. The result? Food that spoils faster and can even become toxic, even if it still looks good. What to do? Always dry thoroughly before storing. Use paper towels, cotton cloths, or salad spinners to remove excess moisture. Using poorly chosen cutting boards. Plastic cutting boards with deep cuts accumulate invisible residues. Even if they look clean, these grooves hide bacteria that are hard to eliminate. What to do? Choose well-maintained wooden boards or tempered glass, and have separate boards for raw meat and vegetables. Cooking with damaged pans. That scratched non-stick pan may seem harmless, but it releases particles straight into your food, and those particles can contain toxic substances with cumulative effects on the body. What to do? Discard pans with compromised coatings. Opt for stainless steel, cast iron, glass, or clay pots. These small details make all the difference. They're not exaggerations. They're simple adjustments you can apply gradually at your own pace, and over time they'll powerfully transform your diet and your health. The powerful natural remedy from Chinese medicine to strengthen immunity after age 60. There's a well-kept secret that has been passed down for generations in the heart of the Chinese mountains. Knowledge not found in modern laboratories, but in the quiet wisdom of those who live long and live well. There, the elderly don't just age, they flourish. At 80, 90 years old, they remain strong, active, with clear minds and energetic bodies. They tend to the land, walk long distances, and take part in family routines as true pillars of vitality. And what's impressive is that this doesn't come from expensive formulas or complicated treatments. but from simple, natural, and powerful practices. Among them is an ancestral recipe that became especially popular during the colder months, when the body naturally weakens and immunity tends to drop. This mixture was used for generations during difficult times when medicine was scarce, but the connection to nature was deep. It was passed from grandparents to grandchildren, prepared by monks in silent retreats and by farmers before long winter work days. Today, you're going to discover this recipe, a true natural boost for the immune system, especially effective for those over 60. It helps protect the body, improves digestion, stimulates circulation, and fights invisible inflammation that builds up over time. Write down the ingredients. 5 centimeters of fresh ginger, sliced. 2 garlic cloves. 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, or a piece of fresh root. 1 tablespoon of pure honey, preferably organic. Juice of half a lemon. 300 milliliters of water. Preparation method: boil the water. As soon as it starts boiling, add the ginger, garlic, and turmeric. Cover the pot and let it simmer for 7 minutes. Then turn off the heat. Strain the mixture, let it cool slightly, and only then add the honey and lemon. Stir well. How to take it: drink 1 cup first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Do this for at least 21 consecutive days, especially during periods of higher exposure to viruses and sudden climate changes. Then repeat the cycle for another 21 days. Attention: if you have an active ulcer or blood clotting issues, talk to a professional before adopting this practice. Pregnant and breastfeeding women should also avoid the continuous use of turmeric and ginger without medical guidance. Now, understand why this combination works so well. Ginger warms the body from the inside and activates circulation, fighting silent inflammation. Garlic stimulates the immune system and is known for its antibacterial properties. Turmeric, rich in curcumin, is a powerful antioxidant that strengthens the organs and combats inflammatory processes. Honey is a natural antibiotic that also provides quick energy and helps soothe the mucous membranes. And lemon, rich in vitamin C, stimulates collagen production and strengthens the body's defenses. Together, these ingredients create a true natural barrier against colds, infections, and respiratory illnesses. It's not a magic potion, but it is a powerful ritual, a bridge between the wisdom of the past and the care we need to take in the present. And now, I want to ask you an important question. What did you think of this class? Did you feel it truly brought you value? If you were to give it a score from 0 to 10, what would it be? And take the opportunity to tell me where you're watching from. Your city, your state. I really enjoy knowing how far this message is reaching. And I won't lie, my heart fills with joy to see how many people in different parts of the world are connecting with this knowledge. Before moving on, I ask you for a simple yet meaningful gesture. If this content touched you in any way, leave the phrase in the comments. Nature is our cure. Yes, these words have power. They carry a commitment. Every time someone writes this, it's like planting a seed of awareness, of health, of hope. And the more people leave this message here, the stronger this chain of good becomes. If you know someone who needs to hear everything that was shared here today, send them this video. Sometimes a simple share is the push someone needs to change their life. Here on the final screen, I'll leave 2 videos that wonderfully complete this content. If you're truly committed to your health, don't miss them. They are precious classes with information you won't find just anywhere. Oh, and of course, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll be notified every time a new class goes live, and you'll keep walking with me on this journey of learning, care, and transformation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting in natural wisdom and the power of true knowledge. See you in the next video.